Hi, I'm Dr. Rajani. Thanks for joining me today. Extremely important video for everyone today. I'm in the Aesthetic Training Center today. A little different background for some of you, but I wanted to get this out. Very important warning issued by the FDA for dermal fillers, delivery, and where you get them. Understand the FDA has a lot going on right now. This is something they don't need to get involved in unless it was very important. When did you hear about it from me? Many years ago. You can see the videos here, and I talked about these hyaluron pens, but they didn't just talk about the pens, it also had to do with the product. And the reason is, as I tell you about these and other procedures, there have been some disastrous outcomes with people losing their lips. Not a lot of blindness that they talked about here, fillers at irregular levels, side effects, people cannot remove things from their face, and that's why they issued the warning. I'm going to add that the warning should also include, this is my opinion, fibroblasts and fibroblast pens. Both of what we're going to talk about today, I was on Amazon looking around today, eBay. You can find these kind of devices that they do mention in their warning for $15, $25, $30, $40, including the products that are going into the body. Let's see what the FDA said today. If you own a clinic, please take this video and share it in an email blast or share it on your social media so people see why they're coming to your clinic for the education, knowledge, and the expertise. If you're a home gamer, this is when things go south, when the tears come. This is what we're trying to avoid. If you don't do fillers, if you don't do any of these procedures, if you were considering buying something online, even including RF devices, all the devices that are unregulated, it's worth watching, and some people might just be interested, but I talk about this quite a bit. Let's see what the FDA said. Okay, so here is the exact warning, and do not use needle-free devices for injection of dermal fillers. FDA safety communication. Now, they don't just talk about the devices, but they talk about the fillers. I talk about this all the time because of these dangers. So if we scroll down, so the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, the FDA, is warning the public health care professionals not to use needle-free devices such as hyaluron pens for injection of hyaluronic acid or other lip and facial fillers. Notice they focus on lip because that is the #1 driver to practices other than Botox-like products, but everyone wants a large lip, and when they get it large, they want even larger. You saw my post recently on the shorts and the reels. They're commonly referred to as dermal fillers. The FDA is aware of serious injuries. I talk about all the time. I don't think people listen to me, but maybe they'll listen to the FDA. This is serious stuff. In some cases, permanent harm. So what we're talking about is necrosis, loss of skin, inability to dissolve. I did a reaction video to a botched segment where they lost the motor nerve, facial nerve 7, trying to remove some of this stuff, and to the skin and the lips and the eyes. The eyes are the next driver because it's the #1 area to age people first because of the thin skin. That doesn't surprise us. Here's the recommendation. Do not undergo any filler procedure with needle-free devices. That's the hyaluron pen. I have 2 videos at least up here from a few years ago talking about it. I unboxed one and then I talked about the problems and I showed it being used. So go back and watch them if you want. But they go on, and there's more here. Do not buy or use lip or facial fillers sold directly to the public. And I think this is one of the most important parts of this, because if you're in practice, you know, we see it a lot. People come in, they don't know what's in their face, or they went somewhere for the $400 lip injections. Lip injections cost more than $400 in the United States. Products are cheaper in Canada, some European places, but I'll tell you, I travel the world and I don't see places where legitimate product is less expensive. A lot of times it's more expensive. I was just in Germany, Dubai, France, Monaco, so I know the prices from around the world. Thailand as well, and Jakarta in Asia, a lot of places. It's not like there are cheap filler injection locations in a lot of the world. You will find some. Do not inject yourself or others with lip filler. You know my videos of people going to houses, they look like haunted houses, getting fillers. That's your first clue something's not right. What do I say that people need to inject before they know how things are going to react, what a product or device does? The number to me is 200. Only if people are working with their colleagues and sharing knowledge on the other 1,000 procedures. Because until someone's done 1,000, you just don't know. And it's not 1,000 in one day, it's over time. Because you have to see people back over years and years to see what these things are doing to faces, how long they're lasting, are they migrating, all sorts of things. But don't inject yourself or others with lip or facial fillers. The main reason also is you can get product often that, when I say real, what I mean is if I go to other countries, sometimes they're handing me Sculptra. Well, it's PLLA. It might be not in a water that I'm used to seeing it, but in hyaluronic acid. There's nothing wrong with that. They work well together. The point of it is a lot can be hidden in what you think is hyaluronic acid, including PLLA, PDO, polydioxanone can be in there. Of course, impurities, things that are going to cause infection, but also you might find permanent products in there as fillers, such as, it could be anything, but PMMA is often in there, plastics, because they're not made in legitimate, maybe legitimate's the wrong word, they're not made in factories that are controlled a lot of the time. So don't inject yourself, definitely not others. If you're DIY, you do it yourself, great, harm yourself. But don't harm other people. I think that's an important point. If you experience any problems or are concerned after injection of lip or facial fillers, and listen to this, using a needle-free device, seek care from a licensed healthcare provider. Well, guess what? A couple problems. Number one is, if you just go to your local person, your local doctor, or even your ER with a problem, they're most likely not going to know what to do. These are esoteric things in the real world. They don't see filler necrosis or blindness in a regular hospital setting. Dermatology, plastic surgery, physicians' offices where they provide injections, yes. But just because you go to seek care, and the second, they might not know what to do. The second thing is, they might not take care of you because they don't know what's in the face. So report any problems. There's one other point I want to make here. Let's move down the page here and we see, if you are considering a filler procedure, talk to a licensed healthcare provider. One of the things I hear often on this channel, Doc, we don't know where to go. Can you recommend somebody? So every state is different and has different rules and regulations. There are federal laws, but it's state regulated as well. So some places nurses can inject, some they can be somewhat independent, some they can't. Nurse practitioners, PAs, doctors, and then there's estheticians in states that are allowed to inject. Obviously, estheticians go to esthetician school, not injection school often, but some states that can be possible. So it is legal. And some people are very, I would say, forward thinking about getting their education and they're studying and they know their stuff. And some people might have the credentials, whatever they think you are. They could be the highest level doctor, PhD, whatever you believe, and they don't know their stuff because they don't care. It's more of a business. So it's not just the title of the person, but it's ongoing education and passion. You got to find the passion. And everyone that injects should be scared about it. We are scared of injecting. Every day I inject, I'm scared. A healthy fear, because I know what's going on in the face and what can happen. So it's not something we take lightly. The procedure using FDA-approved dermal filler should be only performed by licensed healthcare providers. I did do a poll on our community section and I asked people, who do you think are the #1 injectors in the United States? The correct answer is nurses. Nurses inject most of the products, meaning neuromodulators, Botox-like products, and fillers in the United States today. The majority of nurses will need to have someone that can perform an independent examination, a nurse practitioner, a physician, like a MD, something to that effect. But each state, again, is different. Again, it's passion. You can't buy passion and education. That's what you're looking for. So then they make recommendations to the healthcare providers to report these things. I told you the story when I did the hyaluron pen videos prior, maybe 4 years ago. I was working with a representative from a company, and we're having dinner, a little steak and beer at night. That's when you learn everything. And he said, Rajani, you wouldn't believe it, I just lost 300 grand. I said, what happened? He ordered these pens, hyaluron pens, and started selling them to practices and people. And they were selling them for $1,600 a shot. They were the high-end hyaluron pens that deliver hyaluronic acid. He bought a container full and was going to sell these. He threw them out. So after spending 300 or 400 grand on them, maybe selling 50 or 60, the complications that came back, he threw them out. Not a lot of people have 400 grand to throw around. That told me all I needed to know. And of course, I got them, tried them, went to courses on them just to see. And you'll see from my post before, I warned everyone of this long ago. We talked about it. You can't blow product with low force, unstudied, and all these pens are unregulated and different, and get it to the depth that you need it to go. But let's say you own a clinic and you are unlicensed especially, you're motivated to do things that bring you revenue, and who doesn't want to inject fillers? It's a sexy thing. It's like the new rock stars of the world, or the plastic surgeons of the world. They're the new rock stars because everyone wants aesthetics, so people want to get involved. And if you're unlicensed and you can do things right, like the fibroblast pen, which is burning the skin, or you can do things like the hyaluron pen and be providing quote-unquote fillers, then in your mind you've elevated yourself. The way to elevate yourself is to go to school and study and get the credentials and get the licensing specific to your state. Blowing product in the face is not good. Let's look at one last statement. They note exactly what the product is they're talking about, and that's the needle-free injection devices that we talked about. And here are the specific risks that they are seeing. They haven't evaluated the safety and effectiveness. And they noted that needle-free devices and lip facial fillers for use with these devices sold online directly to the public, and their use is promoted on social media. Just because you see something on social media doesn't mean it's good. Social media is great, and I tell you the perils of social media, but people, again, you need 200 or 300 treatments to know what's going to happen to someone. On social media, people do one or two and they're an expert, or maybe they do one on themselves and they're an expert. Nothing wrong if you want to harm yourself, but it's to other people pick that up. And they want it for increasing lip volume, improving the appearance of wrinkles, everything people want. And FDA approved dermal fillers are intended, they're a prescription device, and it's a device, it's considered a device, but when you get a filler, the needle or the cannula that they come with, and in this country it's mainly needles, that is FDA approved within the packaging, and it should be used with that needle that comes with it. Everything else is considered off-label. An important point here. And then they say needle-free injection devices for aesthetic purposes do not provide enough control over where the injected product is placed. Where did you hear that before? In my videos. Lip and facial filler products sold directly to consumers online may be, look at this, contaminated with chemicals and infectious organisms. Absolutely 100% correct. And do you want a bloodborne illness? Absolutely not. Very dangerous. So here are the risks. Bleeding, bruising, not a big deal. That happens no matter what. Infection with bacteria, fungus, virus, from the needle-free device. This is one of the things I worry about most because it's the hardest to treat, and there's something called delayed onset nodules, and we've seen these, and biofilm, where the product's encapsulated so the antibiotics cannot get to it. Look that up if you want to scare yourself. Biofilm, very hard. Transmission of disease between people And there have been cases with microneedling guns, pens, everything else. It's what I worry about the most when people don't know where they're going, or if you're trying to save money and you're getting things for $100, $200, $300. I mean, won't go into that end of it, but people seem to believe the $1 or $2 needle or the $2 or $3 gloves are expensive now, can be reused. Needles and gloves can and should not ever be reused. You hear it all. Blockage of a blood vessel leading to tissue death, blindness, stroke, scarring. This is all very true, and it can happen in the best of hands, but it's much higher risk in those that aren't trained, or if you're blowing a product, trying to blow it into the skin, much more common to happen and much harder to reverse, especially if you don't know what was blown into your face. It could be permanent. You cannot reverse many of the products. Only hyaluronic acid can you reverse, not even calcium hydroxyapatite or radius, even though people believe so. Damage to eyes from the pressure, lumps in the skin, not the worst thing. It's disfiguring, but not the worst thing. Discoloration, post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation, terrible. Hard to treat. Hard to treat, and I've seen it on necks where it's lasted long time. I'm talking years. I've lost track of some patients, but post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation can be hard to treat, especially if you don't know what went into the skin. Allergic reaction, not as common. Please be careful with the hyaluron pen. I put a complete list of videos up here to help keep your skin and body beautiful, healthy, and vibrant.